San Felipe de Austin, first Anglo-American capital of Texas, came into being on July 26, 1828 as capital of the Austin colony by decree of the Mexican government. Father of Texas, Stephen F. Austin, had begun under the 1821 grant from Mexico the settlement of more than 1,000 families. The original colony ran from the coast on the south to the old San Antonio Road on the north, and from the Lavaca River on the west to the San Jacinto River on the east. In this first American town in Texas lived Austin, William Barrett Travis, Sam Houston, David G. Burnett, and Jane Long. All settlers crossed its threshold for land grants. After the organization of other colonies, this continued to be the recognized center of Texas. It was capital of the Mexican Department of Brazos, site of the conventions of 1832 and 1833, and the consultation of 1835, where Texans aired grievances and tried to reach understanding with Mexico. The provisional government, created with Henry Smith as governor in 1835, functioned here until it gave way to the convention declaring Texas independence of Mexico on March 2nd, 1836. We've made it to Stephen F. Austin State Park, and it's giving me Jurassic Park vibes for sure. Reminding me a lot of Palmetto State Park. Very similar with the whole Palmettos thing going. And there might be velociraptors here. It's a smallish park. I think a total of 5 miles of trail. I think the lady at the front office told me. So I'm gonna meander about and see what I can see. Looks like they've got some tent sites over there. And another state park, wonderfully nestled right next to a stupid fucking golf course. See, this is pretty. That's an abomination. Pretty. Abomination. Guess I'm not a fan of golf. Oh, neat. We got some rudimentary furniture. Good spot to sit down and have your morning coffee. Like these creepy swamp trees. Makes me feel like I'm in an old Scooby-Doo cartoon. Definitely starting to warm up a little. I imagine as we get into the summer months, it is muggy out here. It's already muggy now. Just take the trail. Don't make shortcuts. I love the, I guess, ivy. I'm not going down there. Ow. Mean thorny branch. Just trying to rip apart my clothes. Cardinal in there. Vines almost look like power cables. I can't imagine what it was like being out here in the 1800s trying to hack your way through this crap. Barely see. Definitely different. We got a bridge. Oh, and we got a fork in the trail. We just came off the opossum trail. Oh, there it is. Hear that woodpecker? Will he do it again? Oh, I hear one further away. Woodpecker's gonna peck wood. What are you gonna do? Some more boardwalks. Get us through the marshlands. I've had a full day today. I was up at 6 in the morning and on the road for a couple hours to get out this way. I got a couple more hours back. Definitely starting to feel it. But lately I've been pushing myself more. I took a break and was only doing, 3 to 5 mile hikes. Now I'm pushing myself back up to 6 or 7. And I think today is probably going to end up being a 7 or 8 mile day. I've hit a couple spots, so the mileage adds up. I've been converted from big bulky boots to trail runners, or well, I guess these are a cross between hiking shoes and trail runners. But so far I've enjoyed them. They're a lot lighter, so the idea is they've still got pretty good traction and durability, but they're a lot lighter and breathable, more breathable. So theoretically, this should be easier on my legs on longer distances. Just past a trail marker sign that I think somebody ripped up and moved. Hopefully I still am where I think I am, which I think I am. We'll see. Heard something scurrying around in there. Probably a lizard. What do we got here? Every time I take you to a park that I've never been to before, you have to bear with me as I do a fair amount of on-the-fly navigation. Okay. This makes sense. I think we are right here. Can we see that? Yeah, right here. So I could do this extra bit, or I could cut straight across that way. I think, considering how fast that went, it was only 0.31. I feel like I knocked that out really quickly. I think we're going to push ourselves and do the half-mile Copperhead Trail. Now, hopefully we won't run into any copperheads. I've never seen one in the wild before, but they are venomous and they're dangerous because they're small and they don't warn you like a rattlesnake does. I think rattlesnakes are the most courteous venomous snake. They at least tell you that they're there. Copperheads do not tell you, and they love hiding in wood, sticks. You know, when you're going and picking up firewood, that's when you're most likely to accidentally find one. And it's not a good thing to accidentally find a snake. I need to stop and appreciate the texture of this tree. Nice. I keep hearing things skittering about in the shrubbery, but I've made it to the northernmost part of the park, and you can see there's a fence boundary. So that's the end of Stephen F. Austin Park, and I'm sort of making my way across the northernmost section. And you know, it's a small park, and the trails are very nice and docile. There's not a lot of uppy downy bits, and it's mostly shaded. So I would say it's, you know, a pretty nice spot with like easy trails, not a ton of crazy mileage, but it's pleasant, not bad. Definitely will get pretty hot, which, you know, we'll say that about every place in Texas. I'm slowly losing my window of happy, pleasant Texas weather. Old tree graveyard. Oh. What is this? Cottonwood Trail. Gonna have to consult the map again. Okay. Alright. I think I know where we are. I think that takes us back to where we started the Copperhead Trail. That long straight shot. And I think we need to go this way. So now we're headed back south. Although, I want to figure out, so supposedly we're at a point of interest. Number 1. Somebody please tell me the point. Okay, so come to this spot and see the distinction between the upland hardwood forest and the bottomland forest, based on the old Brazos River bank from 1930. So I guess what we just passed through on the Copperhead Trail is closer to what it looked like back in the 30s, if I'm reading that right. And this is more the bottomland forest. I don't know. I'm not a park ranger, but I assume that's the case. That's how I read the map. I'm not seeing a crazy amount of animals, but I didn't get out here till noon, and I feel like between 1 and 3 p.m. is the worst time to try to spot wildlife, because everything's sort of hunkering down through the midday heat. But you can kind of see we're up on a ridge that runs north to south of the park, and down in here, oh, I guess that's what the map, that's what the map means by upper and lower. This is the upland hardwood forest, and that's the bottomland river area. So you can kind of see, like, it drops off right here. And we were up to very recently walking on trails that kind of wind all through the bottomland here. And eventually, if you go far enough that way, you'll hit the river. So this is the upper, and this is the lower river bottom. Yeah, up here is one of the shortcuts. This cuts from the upper to the lower. In fact, this will probably give you a better view of what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the Brazos Bottom Trail. Yeah, goes down this little ridge and all through here. That's the majority of what we've been walking so far today. And I guess one of the main geological features yeah, there's the opossum trail. You can see straight through. Quite a big dip. In fact, it's got stairs. Who wants to come all the way out in the woods and go upstairs? Is that not the perfect bird perch? If I was a bird, that's where I'd be. Dear Lord, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away. We got the old obligatory map breakdown. Came in down here, stopped at the headquarters for some goodies, drove up here, and went through the tent camping sites here, and then I parked here, and we started a-walking and did the Barred Owl Trail, hooked onto the Sycamore Trail, came over here to the Opossum Loop, followed this guy, the Brazos Bottom Trail, and then went through the Copperhead Trail. And then we followed this guy back down to the wildlife viewing area. And now we're here. So I can either follow the roads back to the car, or what I think I'm gonna do is just make a giant loop and come down this and then come up the other end of the Ironwood Trail and come back to the car. This is where we saw the Brazos River, and kind of cutting diagonally across the park is the upper lands and then the lower river bottom lands. And most of the trails go through the river bottom. Is this what they think I look like? I appreciate this. Yeah, got some RV campsites and a playground. Go for a swing. We're back to the side with the golf course. Pretty? Abomination. Well, we're almost back to the car. I think it took me 2 or 3 hours to walk the whole park, just about, and hit pretty much all the trails. Did a big loop around the whole place, and yeah, it's a nice place, nice park, pretty easy trails, real easy to navigate. The trails weren't terribly confusing, and it's off out here on the way into Houston, coming from Austin. So if you're in the vicinity, it's worth stopping for a couple hours to walk amongst the Jurassic Park jungle and listen to all the birds. And yeah, this kind of today marks my first foray going east. Which again, I haven't spent a lot of time in southeast Texas, so it's been interesting today to get a look at some of the wilderness out here, some of the coastal plains and marshier, swampier kind of vibe the further east you go. So again, I have a newfound Texan pride and love for just the land itself. Texas is a interesting place with a lot of different kind of environments. So it's been an honor and a privilege to wander about with you and take in the sights and the sounds and the flora and the fauna. An honor to breathe heavy with you while I drag my carcass across the state.